Wait, what did you say? You want to lose weight this year? Oh, well, no worries. I'm here to help you. I am going to give you the hard truth, so prepare yourself. Hey guys, it's Karen from the Fitness Center, and I'm so excited that we now have this YouTube channel as a resource for you guys to help educate and inspire and entertain you guys with anything related to health, nutrition, fitness, and having a healthy mind. We're going to start with a series on this channel since it is the new year. This is going to be the 2022 Fat Loss Tips video series. So as I was planning out this video, I was literally overwhelming myself because there's so much to say. So I decided to split this up into a 3-part series so it's smaller and easier for you to digest. So I have 3 main tips to cover here, what I feel will help you reach your health, fitness, and fat loss goals. And they are food, meaning proper nutrition, fitness, meaning exercise and movement, and mindset, how you see yourself, how you think about yourself, and how you speak to yourself. This video, I will just focus on nutrition. Now, I will warn you, what I'm about to tell you might disappoint you because I'm not about to tell you what magical diet you should be on or how many calories you should be consuming. But a general rule of thumb in order to lose weight is that we need to expend more energy than we are consuming. And that is assuming you are not battling any health conditions that can affect your metabolism. Now that I've said that, please don't think that you need to burn off all the calories you consume in the form of intense daily workouts. Our bodies are burning calories all the time, 24 hours a day. They're burning calories while we're sleeping, while we're at rest, while we're digesting our food, which is called the thermic effect of food, during our everyday activities of daily living, otherwise called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and during purposeful exercise, meaning your workouts or anything like that. So really, it's the whole big picture. It's what you're doing day in and day out consistently over a long period of time that's going to bring you the results. But I am here to help you and give you a little bit of guidance with where to start. So we're going to cover how much to consume and what types of foods to consume. So if you want to know how much you should be eating, I have a couple tips to help you get started. Whenever you're starting a weight loss or fat loss venture, it's very important to assess your starting point, where you are at now and what is happening. Okay, so the first thing I would recommend is start tracking your food in an app such as MyFitnessPal. There's also a couple others I've heard about that have good reputations like My Macros and Chronometer, but I use MyFitnessPal personally. I've been using it for years and it's what works for me. So what you would want to do is maybe take a week or two to just input all the food you eat on a normal day. This is before you're trying to lose any weight. This is just you assessing where you're at now, okay? So track it for a week or two, and of course, track your weight while you're at it, and just kind of see what's happening. And also take note of how you are feeling. It's really good to maybe keep a notebook or a little log in your computer and write these things down and put, week 1, day 1, this is how many calories I've consumed, maybe break down the carbs, protein, and fat, and how you're feeling throughout your days. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling sluggish? Are you feeling awesome? Like, what are you feeling? Because that is so important, and I think a lot of us ignore our feelings. Like, we just think about what's the weight on the scale. So this is you really figuring out where you're starting. Now that you've assessed where you're at and what's happening and how you're feeling, now it's time to take an action. If you decide, I probably should be consuming a little bit less. I think I am eating a bit too much. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how many calories I'm taking in every day. That's when you want to maybe bring it down a little bit. Now, I do not want you overnight just slashing 1,000 calories a day. That is way too drastic. You have to do this in a very gradual way because I'm sorry to say, but this has to be a journey and a process, and it's not going to be quick. This is a slow and steady and lifelong process because you are trying to really have a whole new way of living. We're not trying to just go on a diet for a certain event. Like, you're trying to change your life. So you experiment with maybe cutting 100 or 200 calories that next week and see how that goes for you. And please also understand that a healthy rate of weight loss is anywhere from 0.5 to 2 pounds per week. And that is a general rule of thumb. And don't expect your body to work like a robot. Like, if I do this, this is how much I will lose every single week. You may have a week where you lose 2 pounds. You might have a week where you lose a half a pound. You may have a maintenance week. You can't control what's going to happen. So we have to get those expectations out of our heads and just roll with it. It takes time to assess what's going on. You got to give all these things time. Another thing I do want to say is there is a calorie level that I don't ever want anyone going below unless you are under the care of a medical professional. But generally for women, you do not want to eat less than 1,200 calories, and men do not eat under 1,500. That is too little for a healthy individual. So like I said, unless you're working with a doctor or you have some health conditions, please don't go below those calorie levels. And since we are talking about calories, I want to tell you to not get overly obsessed about the number of calories you're taking in versus the number of calories burned, okay? Because something that we all need to understand and people need to talk about more often is that we have a lot of fitness trackers that track how many calories we're burning, or say you're on a piece of exercise equipment, it tells you how many calories you burned. These are just estimates. They're not perfect. We all are different. We all have different bodies. Our bodies are not burning calories at the same rate. So that is something else to consider. So all this tracking that we're doing, it's useful. They're great tools if you're consistent in doing it, but understand that it's not 100% exact. So don't get too hung up on numbers. Just do your best. What matters is what you're actually doing, not what you're writing down so much. It's what you're doing. But the more you can maybe assess what you're doing in the form of logging, it can help you to pinpoint what behaviors you need to change in terms of feeding yourself. So that's my first tip. My second tip is if you don't want to rely on yourself with assessing the calories and where you started and let me try slashing, blah, blah, blah. I feel very comfortable recommending a website with a calorie calculator for reaching your weight loss goals, and that is through Precision Nutrition, and I will put that link in the description box. It'll ask you a bunch of questions about you, like your height, your weight, your activity level, your workouts, and it will spit out a very detailed report recommending the calories, I believe the macro breakdown, and a lot of great tips on how to do this in a very healthy way. But please also understand this is also a starting point in terms of calorie recommendations. If you follow whatever it tells you to do and you find it's not working after a few weeks, well then you reassess, okay? Because again, we are all unique individuals. Nothing is perfect. So you always have to really trust yourself with knowing what you think you might need to do next. Oh, maybe I'm eating a little too much still. Let me cut it a little bit. Or maybe I'm not eating enough because I am starving. Or maybe there's another reason I'm starving, and we'll get into that later. So now I'm going to get into my third and final tip regarding food amount. And this has nothing to do with tracking calories whatsoever, because if that stresses you out, we don't need to go there right now. Maybe you'll do that later in a different phase of your journey, or maybe you'll never do it. Like I said, we're all different and different things work for different people. But something that I am so passionate about is something called mindful eating. Mindful eating is just so important. I think a lot of us, we are very busy. Sometimes we are eating meals while we are driving or running out the door with our kids, or we're doing a million things at once. I always try to mindfully eat, meaning focus on my food. Sit with my food, savor it, eat slowly, appreciate the taste of it, and really just focus on that moment, that meal. What comes along with mindful eating is knowing when to stop eating. When we are just shoveling food in because it tastes so good, or we're stressed, emotional eating perhaps, we're not really paying attention to our hunger signals or our fullness signals. So that's why I just love mindful eating, because you're really paying attention to how you're feeling. A nice general rule of thumb is to stop eating when you're about 80% full. No one likes to feel 100% stuffed. I don't. But I also don't like to feel like I'm not quite satisfied. Like I do want to feel a bit of fullness. Like I want to feel after a meal like I'm good, but I'm comfortably full. So that can be something that can help maybe some of you if you're just having issues with emotional eating, maybe eating out of stress. Like sometimes it's just paying attention to how we're feeling and what we're doing when we're eating that can make all the difference. It really can. So that can be a place that you start if you feel that would work for you, or if this makes sense to you. If you don't mind my getting a little personal, I struggled hardcore from like my teen years to almost about age 30. I struggled with food big time. And me personally, a part of my struggle was that I was just addicted to food. Like I just ate stuff that tasted really good, and it made me want to keep going. So, that's why now what we're going to talk about is food quality. We've already talked about calories and how much to eat and all that kind of stuff, but now I want to get into food quality. Something I often say to my friends, family, and on social media is that you crave what you give your body consistently. Therefore, if you want to seriously commit yourself to getting healthy and taking off any unwanted pounds, then you need to start feeding yourself nutritious foods. Foods that contain vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff to help nourish your body and fuel your body for optimal performance. When you consistently feed yourself highly processed foods, you are likely taking in excess calories than what your body actually needs. And these foods are not filling, they're not fueling your body properly, and they leave you wanting more. I have personally gone through this, and I'm telling you, this has been a journey for me. This has not been overnight. But as I started feeding myself more nutritious foods, I started craving the nutritious foods, and I no longer enjoy junk food the way I used to. Now, I'm not perfect. Of course, I eat things that are considered unhealthy or not so good for you, but that's okay. I don't expect you to be perfect, and you shouldn't expect yourself to be perfect. It's just making the best choices most of the time. And believe me, on the weekends, I indulge in pizza and maybe eat some processed foods. It's fine. And I might even have something during the week that ain't so good, but it's just the whole picture. But I seriously am finding that nowadays, when I do indulge in my not so usual foods, like the highly processed stuff, it just doesn't taste as good to me anymore because my body has very slowly gotten used to all the very nutritious foods. So it's such a fascinating revelation. It's like really cool. Like I'm so happy that I am craving the good stuff now, and all the junk just really doesn't taste as good as it used to. So you're gonna find this will happen. It's proof coming from a very personal standpoint that if you just consistently have self-belief and persistence and do not give up when you might have a little blip, you'll see the results. It just takes patience. It really does. All right, so now you guys probably want some food ideas. What are the nutritious foods? What should I be eating? So here we go. You want to focus on whole foods, minimally processed foods, and decreasing the highly processed foods. Now, we have 3 macronutrients. This is what's responsible for giving all the foods the calories that they have. We have carbohydrates, protein, and fat. We should be eating all 3. I am not a proponent of low carb diets, keto, paleo, whatever the heck is happening these days. Our bodies need carbs, fat, and protein because they all serve very important roles to helping our bodies function the way they're supposed to function. I'm going to briefly talk about the role of carbs, fat, and protein, and also give you food ideas and recommendations that can get you started on your journey to healthy fat loss. Carbohydrates are our body's immediate primary energy source. They are full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and are satiating. They are also our brain's primary fuel source. They will help us to feel good and perform optimally. We need carbohydrates. Some examples of healthy carbohydrates are fruits and veggies, whether they're fresh or frozen, it doesn't matter, just get them in. Whole grains, if your body tolerates them, such as brown rice, quinoa, and oats. Whole grain cereals that contain low amounts of added sugar. Whole wheat, whole grain, multigrain breads. And personally, my all-time favorite carbohydrate for a very long time now is sweet potatoes. The next macronutrient we're going to talk about is protein. Protein is extremely satiating and helps to build muscle. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that protein has a lot of other important roles in helping to support a healthy body. Adequate protein helps support a healthy metabolism, a healthy immune system, and helps with overall performance. We don't really need too much to survive, but we do need more than we think to thrive. Some basic guidelines that I follow by Precision Nutrition are to take in about 0.6 to 0.9 grams of protein per pound of body weight, but I try to err on the side of that 0.9. Like I try to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight because I am constantly trying to preserve my muscle mass and or build muscle mass. So I shoot for the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. But I do know if I fall short of the 1 gram per pound of body weight, it's okay because I know I'm getting enough to support a healthy body. So if you're choosing to track your food intake in one of these apps that I talked about previously, it could be really interesting to see how much protein you are getting currently before you actually start to make adjustments to your current diet. Some examples of healthy protein is lean meat, such as skinless, grilled or baked chicken, roasted turkey, lean red meats, fish, eggs, whey protein powders, and plant-based proteins such as tofu, tempeh, and pea protein powder. The third and final macronutrient we're going to talk about is fat. Why are we eating fat? What kind of fat should we eat? Something I want you to know is that eating fat will not make you fat. It's eating excess calories that may put on the unwanted pounds. Now, fat does have the highest number of calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram, where carbohydrates and protein both have about 4 calories per gram. So yes, if you eat a high-fat diet, your calories are going to add up a lot quicker, but it doesn't mean you should avoid fat altogether. Fat serves important roles in our body, just like carbohydrates and protein do. There are so many reasons we need dietary fat. We need it to help support a healthy metabolism, immune system, hormone production, absorption of vitamins and minerals, and it also helps with satiety. Some examples of healthy fats are olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, nut butters, and fatty fish like salmon. Now that I've explained all the nutritious foods that you should be focusing on consuming, you might be wondering about how to craft a good meal. Like, I need some meal ideas. So lucky for you, this channel will be filled with meal ideas that is coming in the future. But of course, if you want something right away, please leave a comment below or email us, whatever you need, and we can easily give you some meal ideas just to get you started. This is a lengthy video, I know. That's why I had to split this up into 3 parts, because there's no way I could talk about the fitness and the mindset in the same video. But the last tip I want to give you is all about being prepared, and I mean having all the tools in the toolbox. Make sure you're designating 1 day a week to go grocery shopping so you have the proper foods in your kitchen to help set you up for success. Even if you don't have all your meals mapped out, that's fine. If you have all the right foods in your kitchen, you can easily concoct your meals. Make sure all your meals have carbs, fat, and protein in them. So maybe when you go grocery shopping, have 3 different columns: your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. So when you go to craft your meal, say you're making dinner, you're like, I need a carbohydrate. Oh, I've got sweet potatoes in the refrigerator. I need a protein. Oh, I've got some lean ground turkey in the freezer. Let me defrost that. And fats. Avocado would be a really nice fat to add to this meal because it tastes so good. And vegetables are always a must. You gotta add vegetables, and those have carbs, but they're very low carb. Now, some people meal prep, some people don't. Some people like to use a Saturday or a Sunday to bulk make, grilled chicken for the week or whatever it may be. I'm not really a big meal prepper like that. I kind of take each day as it comes. I have my tools in the toolbox and I just kind of attack at each meal, and it just works for me. But everyone's different. Everyone has the routine. Some people are beginners at this and they're still practicing. Some people just have it under control. It's really all about where you're at in your journey and what you feel comfortable doing. And it's going to take a lot of trial and error. So please do all of this in a way that you're accepting that this is all experimentation and finding what works for you. Don't beat yourself up if something didn't go right. Just learn from it. And if you make the same mistake a few times in a row, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. That's something I used to do too much to myself. I beat myself up, and that doesn't work for me. We'll get more into that into the mindset video. In conclusion to this video is that this is all a process. Do not try to do everything all overnight and make all these changes. If you take 1 step in the right direction, you're on your way to seeing results. You're on your way to feeling so much better. Don't worry about being perfect. It takes practice, like anything else in life. I do not know where this came from, this idea that when it came to our diets or how we eat, that we need to be perfect. That is not real life. And you tell me what part of your life is perfect. None of it. There's not one part of our life that is perfect. So do not expect the way you eat to be perfect. Just do your best. No all or nothing thinking. Stay committed to the process. Think about how you're feeling, not just the numbers of calories consumed, burned, and the weight on the scale. And never, ever give up on yourself. The key to all of this working when it comes to the food is consistency and doing something that is sustainable for you. If you cannot eat a certain way for more than a week, it's time to figure something else out. You have to do what is sustainable because that will make you consistent, and over time, the results will come. Okay, I lied. Bonus tip time. I'm going to just briefly talk about this, but something that does contribute to our eating habits is the amount of sleep we're getting and also the amount of stress that we have. It is very, very important to get these two under control. When we are not sleeping properly, our hunger hormones can be out of whack. So as best as you can, try to get proper sleep. 7-8 hours we want to try to get that, okay? And in terms of stress, I'm not going to say don't have stress in your life, but please take every step you can to try to manage your stress to the best of your ability, because that can also lead to emotional eating. So I feel that I'm getting better every day with managing stress. I just constantly say to myself, is freaking out and getting all stressed out about anything really going to help the matter? No, it's not. So it takes a lot of self-talk. It really, really does, but it can be done, and that takes practice as well. So please get your sleep and manage your stress to the best of your ability. That will help with your eating habits tremendously. At the end of a video like this, I feel like I probably forgot something and I probably could have said something else. So if you guys have any other questions, please put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any and all of your questions. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. All right, guys, I will see you later. Bye.